Welcome back to the Pool Pro Podcast. If you have never attended the World Aquatic Health Conference, this is your chance to get a teaser to the type of talk that will happen on October 15 and 16. Stay tuned to the end to get a discount code off registration. Welcome back to the Pool Pro Podcast. This is Michelle Cavanaugh, and my co-host is absent today. He's actually out in the field, probably installing an ozone system, because that's what he does. Duty calls, so he's out doing that today. I have a special guest that I've known for quite some time from the World Aquatic Health Conference days, and we're actually going to talk about the World Aquatic Health Conference today, so it's timely. Sung Cho is the Technical Operations Manager at NSF's Rec Water Division. Welcome, Sung. We're happy to have you today.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Absolutely. Sung is going to be speaking at the World Aquatic Health Conference on Friday, October 16th. I believe the time slot is 1:40 p.m. Eastern. And he's going to be talking about ANSI 50 and NSF, as well as turbidity reduction test, or that's the name of your particular talk, turbidity reduction test. And I just wanted to ask Sung, first of all, tell us a little bit about you. You've been in the industry, I think, 15 or so years. Have you been at NSF that entire time? And tell us a little bit about your background.
Yes, I have. Actually, I started in the industry in 2004. Before then, I worked a stint in our chemical labs, some of the exposures, and then in our food equipment program, actually. So in
nice.
2004, I've been full-time rec water, and it's been quite a ride, lots of learning, and the amazing people I've met and learned from. It's just a wonderful industry to work in.
Fantastic. For those that don't know, most people know, but on the service side of things, some service guys may not know. What does NSF actually do in the commercial world of water?
In the commercial world, NSF is first and foremost a public health and safety company. So how we go about kind of establishing public health and safety or protecting people is that we write standards, and to those standards we certify equipment. And so on the commercial side, a lot of state and local codes require certification to NSF standards, whether it is in food equipment or in this industry, recreational water. And that for this standard is NSF standard 50 that equipment is certified to. Gotcha.
And is there training required, or when you say the training requirements, is there a step out there where people can learn more about these kinds of standards? How do they get educated on the standards themselves? Do they just have to go out and research it, or is there some sort of training that they can take to familiarize themselves?
Yeah, so at least once a year, NSF does provide training for the public. It's tends to be about a 3 or 4 hour class, and we go over standards in general. So you can select training per your industry that you're interested in. So.
I see. And is that on your website then, if they want to look at that?
It is. Yep.
Okay, absolutely. Perfect. Great. Well, fantastic. And what is the ANSI 50 standard, Sung? The people that don't know, what is that actual standard talk about or represent?
Well, for this industry, there's a lot of standards that cover us, but for standard 50 specifically, it deals with a lot of the circulation, treatment, and I guess holding tanks, and we also talk about materials. Newer parts of the standard has been some solid surfacing and chemicals. So standard 50 is a material health standard, but most importantly, it's a performance standard. So there are some minimum performance criteria that all equipment has to meet in order to be certified.
Gotcha. Okay. And if it's not certified, can it still be used, or is it not recommended that it be used?
Well, the only state and local or even federal regulations require the actual certification equipment, and typically those are for commercial applications.
I see. Yeah.
Sometimes people consider semi-commercial. For most residential, even though it can be applied in a residential setting, most residential, bylaws do not require certification.
Gotcha. Okay, well that makes sense. So talk about what is turbidity. Just explain what turbidity is for those that may be listening and who don't know.
Sure. Turbidity reduction is something that all filters have to meet. There are a few other requirements within the standard, but turbidity is the biggest thing. And that's actually the removal of particulates, or kind of solids, for lack of a better term, dirt. So dirt from your water. And so when we talk about turbidity, it's the solid particulate and not the organic particulate that adds turbidity to your water.
What exactly is your talk going to be about at the conference? What are you going to be specifically talking about in regards to turbidity reduction?
Sure, there's been a lot of presentations in the past about the NSF turbidity test, or the standard 50 turbidity test. So really what I want to talk about is what it is, what it isn't, and where it's going. Kind of those three heavy topics of what Center 50, what that turbidity test currently involves, what it doesn't involve, and where it's going as the industry as a whole on the commercial side kind of is looking forward to drinking water quality filtration performance. So active task groups within our standards development that are moving in that direction. So I just want to give an update to the industry about that.
Okay. And why do you present at the conference? What is your, I know you've been probably almost every one, I think. So that's how you and I met. But yes. Why do you go to the World Aquatic Health Conference and why do you present there?
I think it's a great forum for everybody to meet and basically socialize and network in one spot. So I remember the first one I ever went to was in the city of Industry in California. And I realized how valuable this type of forum is. It's one of the only educational conferences we have in this industry. And so people hold that in high regard. So it's an excellent forum to provide information and disseminate that to all the industry parties. Yeah.
And for those who haven't attended the World Aquatic Health Conference before, the fact that it's virtual this year allows you to have access to the conference that you may not have been able to attend in the future. They do move it around the country in different areas, but if you've never attended, this is a great way for you to get exposed to the conference because it is virtual. You don't have to travel and have the travel expenses associated with it. You can actually, attend live or on virtually, and it's on the 15th and 16th of October. It's coming up. At the end of this particular podcast, we're going to provide you with a discount code where you can get $50 off your registration. So listen up at the end so you can get that code and access it. Again, this is something that you can have. The nice thing about the conference is there's very different levels of science involved. So you can get the very high level, with the Chip Blatchley or some researcher that's out there doing research, but you can also get stuff like what Sung's talking about where there's science involved, but it's in layman's terms, you can understand it. It's something that's going to provide, good education for you. And part of the reason we do this podcast, which we've mentioned many times, is because we're trying to raise the bar or the level of understanding in the service world and help you elevate, if you will, to a higher level of education in the industry. And that helps everybody. It helps you, your business, but it also helps those pools that you're servicing and the owners of those pools. So if you've never attended, you go to phta.org. There's an events tab there. You can look at the full schedule. The schedule's out there. And again, some speaking at 1:40 on Friday afternoon, Eastern time. And we're happy to have you, Sung. Thanks so much for coming on today. And this is a great opportunity for you to be exposed to the conference and listen to Sung's talk. You can go in and out of different sessions throughout the 2 days, but if you want to get CEUs, they are offering CEUs. And if you need those, then you could have to stay in a particular session the entire time to get those CEU credits. Again, Sung, thanks so much for coming on. Hope you're staying safe out there in this crazy time. And I love your mural behind you, that painting. It's beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you again for having me. And I look forward to everybody's attending the virtual conference this year.
Absolutely. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
A special discount off registration for Pool Pro podcast listeners. Use discount code 50OFF when you register for the conference to get a $50 discount. The Virtual World Aquatic Health Conference is on October 15 and 16, and there are many sessions that would be valuable to service companies and builders. You can find a list of sessions at wahc.phta.org. When you register for the full 2-day conference registration at $495, you can attend any session you want throughout the day, and all sessions will be available to you for 30 days following the conference. You have until 5 p.m. on Friday to use discount code 50OFF to get a $50 discount off registration. Register now.
A new voice in the industry, a resource for all, education for you. This is Pool Pro Podcast. Build relationships and share important news as we get ready for our next backyard adventure. Pool Pro Podcast. Backyard adventures are better together. Please take a moment to share, like, and review our content with all of those that would be interested.